Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of my review of the Radtel RT880. And in my opinion, this is the best radio on the market and it's under $73. In this video, I'm going to show you the latest firmware update with working spectrum,
Keep heading the 2880, climb the maintain the 3880.
the new full band tuning function, and the APRS menu. In case you missed my previous review, I recommend you watch that where I go in depth through the menu. And also, I just want to mention that this video isn't sponsored by Radtel, but I'll be leaving links to this radio pinned in the comments. If you choose to buy from their official website and use the code TAG, you'll receive a 10% discount. And now let's get started. And for those of you that don't know, this is a 10-watt VHF UHF radio that's also capable of receiving HF, shortwave, medium wave, and long wave. But what makes this radio truly unique is that this radio is also capable of transmitting on HF. And it will do approximately 2 to 4 watts between 18 and 32 megahertz. That means that this radio can transmit on CB in FM modulation, which is used in the UK and in a lot of countries in Europe, and also on 29.6 megahertz, that's also used in FM. That means that this radio can give you a range of over 500 miles or even 1000 miles if the conditions are right. Now let's have a look at the firmware version. And it's version 1.05a. And now let's have a look at the spectrum analyzer. And the first function that I did is when long pressing the hash key, you'll get scanning mode, which basically means spectrum without audio. And when you long press again, you'll get monitor mode. So in monitor mode, you're gonna hear audio and transmissions that will break the squelch. Pressing the menu key will switch modulation from FM to AM, SSB, and back to FM. One more function that I really like about this spectrum is that the screen will turn off if there's no activity and will turn back on when the squelch is broken. And now let's go into the airband. And as you can see, the noise level is a lot lower in the spectrum. So I'm gonna lower the squelch. And as you can see, the squelch will stay open, so I need to raise it. So right now it's still opening randomly, so the sweet spot will probably be 040. And that's how you set your squelch. So right now, whenever it receives a stronger transmission that will break it, you're gonna hear it clearly. And one more function that I really like about this spectrum is that whenever it receives a random transmission that you want to eliminate, if you long press menu, it will eliminate that frequency, and you can do that up to 20 frequencies. And to delete all of them, just long press the star key. And now I'm going to show you the full band tuning feature that was added with the latest firmware. And in order to change the working range, you'd have to go here, and you could select between 64 and 620 or 18 and 64 megahertz or 840 and 1000 megahertz. And the radio will restart. It will tell you to switch antennas. And now you'll be able to input into VFO between 18 and 64 megahertz. Also, I did see a video of someone making a contact with another station on 29.6 megahertz FM, and he was claiming that the other station is over 3,500 kilometers away. All he was using is this radio and this $5 antenna that I'm going to leave a link to it pinned in the comments. Now, before this firmware update, in order to be able to go back to VHF or UHF, you would actually have to go back in the menu and switch the working range. Because, for example, right now, if I want to try and input, let's say 118 megahertz or 145 megahertz, it wouldn't let me because the radio is switching filtering every time you switch the working range. So now I would have to go back to 17 work range and choose 64 to 620 megahertz. And now you hear a small click and the radio just switch filtering. Now, the new firmware update will actually allow you to bypass this by powering off the radio long pressing the down key and power on. And now you'll see full band tuning. Now this function is saved, so you can turn off the radio. When you turn it back on, it will still be in the same mode. However, if you want to switch back, all you have to do is turn off the radio, long press the down key and power it on, and we'll go back into regular settings. But now, as you can see, I can long press 145 megahertz, and if I select 900 megahertz, you could actually hear the click when it switched the filtering. Same thing when I switched to 0 to 7 megahertz. And now again when I switched to 145 megahertz. So now you can pretty much use the radio on any frequency you want without having to restart the radio. Just make sure you're using the correct antenna if you're planning on transmitting. And personally, I would recommend just getting one of these BNC adapters so you can switch antennas from the HF antenna to the main transmitting antenna. And now let's go back to regular mode and let's have a look at the no menu options.
Frequency mode.
So now if you go to menu and extended
Functionality.
You'll see you have GPS, APRS, and denoise. Now, from what it looks like, you can turn on the GPS, and I'm not sure if my radio actually has the GPS module inside of it or not. I've seen a tear down of the UV98 and it didn't have the GPS module. Now, also some people do install the GPS module themselves, but for now you can input the fixed latitude and longitude from here, so you can use it with APRS. And now let's have a look at the APRS. So you can turn APRS on or off, station mode, and you can select if it's fixed or the actual GPS module. So if you don't have the GPS module, just select fixed. And comment, I think this is text messaging, so you can send messages to other radios that are capable of receiving APRS. Digi setup, which I think might stand for digital. APRX TX channel, beacon pop-up, beacon list. Let's turn on the noise. And now let's have a look at key definition. So multi-PTT, you can transmit from all of the side buttons if you select it on. You can also program all of the side keys or the number keys. So for example, long press 4 is GPS. 7, you can set whatever you want. And let's just go through all of the options and see what's no. So you have alarm, send single tone, frequency detect, spectrum, radio sleep, query status, save channel, AM/FM switch, NOAA channels, LCD on or off, LCD brightness, UV repeater, so that's a crossband repeater. And the new options are GPS, GPS manual, APRS beacon, and denoise. So let's have a look at the shortcuts. So for example, on 1 I set a spectrum analyzer, on 2 I set the modulation switch. So right now I'm changing modulation from FM to AM, And this is extremely useful for HF, but also for the military airband, so around 240 megahertz. And you won't see a Baofeng doing that, allowing you to switch modulation outside of the airband. Button 4 is the GPS, and that's what it looks like. So imagine if you input the longitude and latitude, you'd be able to see it here, and also you'd probably be able to see other people's coordinates if they transmit their GPS position through APRS. Over here I have beacon list, and by the way, I've never used APRS. I'm not an expert or anything, just basic knowledge. So yeah, that was it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. If you want to support my channel, you can also buy me a coffee by using the link pinned in the comments or in the video description. And I'll see you all in the next video. Stay safe and 7-3.